going on, YouTube? Welcome back to our channel, Red Bull Coffee and Crime. It's your girl, Red Bull. I hope everybody's having a great morning. I wanted to do a update on Anthony Avalos' trial. Today is the closing argument. I am praying to God that these monsters, I really want them to die and burn in hell, but I hope and pray that they get life and they never get a chance to get out. We've gone over Anthony um, a lot of times, a couple of times, um, but I will just, refresh your memory. Let me pull my screen. Hold on. Hold up. Um, well, I'll pull my screen up in a minute. I'll just tell you guys his story real quick. Um, just a little recap. If you guys want, you can go back and look at other videos. So Anthony Avalos, he was born May 4th, 2008. He was 10 years old. He and his siblings were tortured, but Anthony was killed after being beaten and suffered internal bleeding. He was beaten by his mother, Heather Baran, and her boyfriend, Kareem. Um, this case is one that CPS failed tremendously. This is one of the worst. It's like next to Gabriel Fernandez. They even had some of the same case workers as each other. And they tried to say also, just like Gabriel, they did it because he liked boys. And Anthony's body showed signs of sustained abuse. He had bruises and burns all over his body. He was extremely malnourished. Um, he he had plenty of family that were very worried and were trying to get him out of that house along with his siblings. One of his aunts, Crystal, she told her therapist that Anthony's mother was beating, starving, and locking him in a room for hours without any access to the bathroom. And at that time, he was 6. The therapist even called the child abuse hotline, reported the abuse. Um, in total, caseworkers responded to 13 complaints of abuse regarding Anthony's at home situation, and that was between February 2013 and April 2016. And that was including sexual abuse that took place when he was 4 years old. So, John Patami, who is the deputy district attorney for Los Angeles County, he was the DA in Gabriel's case as well. He said, this is quote, "There were injuries to Anthony's side and his hip area, both his left hip and his right hip, and his arms, and even injuries to his feet." He also said at one point Anthony could not walk. He was unconscious, lying on his bedroom floor for hours, was not provided medical attention, and could not eat on his own. Over the last few days of his life, Anthony was tortured repeatedly. He was whipped all over his body, held upside down, dropped on his head, sprayed with hot sauce in his eyes, nose, mouth, and he was forced to kneel on rice for several hours. A 911 call was made one day before Anthony was murdered. So all this took place like in a span of 4 years that people were calling in. but they just kept ignoring it. They said that there was nothing wrong. They couldn't get a hold of Kareem, and they just blew that off, and he was the one doing the abuse. Um, this story is really hits me hard. His aunt and uncle have been advocating for him this whole time. They wanted custody of him and his siblings. They would go and visit their house. He was fed, he was taken care of. If you see pictures, which I've shown in past videos, he was so happy over there. Um, Dancing, playing with his siblings at his house with his mother. They were forced to fight. Um, they say also at the day the murder happened, um, they waited to call 911 so Kareem could sign custody papers like for his kids. Um, his children even testified against him in trial. So let me pull up. Let me share my screen, but I'm gonna. Okay. So a judge is set to hear closing arguments. That's not what I want. Okay. Thursday in the trial of a Lancaster woman and her boyfriend who are charged with murder and torture in connection with the death of her 10-year-old son, Anthony Avalos. Superior Court Judge Sam Oda is hearing the case of Heather Maxine Baron, 33, and Kareem Ernesto Leva, 37, as a result of a decision by both sides to waive their rights to a jury trial. Baron and Leva are charged with one count each of murder and torture involving the June 2018 death of Anthony Avalos, along with 2 counts of child abuse involving the boy's half-siblings, identified in court as Destiny O and Raphael O. The murder count includes a special circumstance allegation of murder involving the infliction of torture over Deputy District Attorney Jonathan Hatami's objection. And I've spoken to Jonathan, you guys. If you watch the Gabriel Fernandez documentary, amazing, amazing TA, amazing person. He is very passionate and he fights so hard for each and one of these cases. I mean, this man is just amazing. He does such a good job. So Jonathan, what was I going to say? So over Deputy District Attorney Jonathan Hatami's objection, the LA County District's Attorney Office dropped its bid for the death penalty against the two after the election of District Attorney George Gaskin, who issued a directive that a sentence of death is never an appropriate resolution in any case. You guys, this George Gaskin, we have a petition to get him out. He is evil. Hey, Amelia, how are you? How are you? How are you? He doesn't believe in the death penalty. He thinks that parents that murder their children deserve second chances. But what about these kids that die and are tortured? And I mean, they didn't get a chance. They were failed. So George Gaskin needs to get the fuck out of office. And if you want to sign that petition, I will put it in the description box. I always forget to do stuff like that. How are you, Amelia? Did it end up raining? So yeah, drop the death penalty against these two fucking assholes. Leva and Baran now face a maximum of life in prison without the possibility of parole if they are convicted as charged, which they will be. Um, the boys' half siblings testified earlier this month that they have been forced to undergo punishment, including kneeling on uncooked rice, wrestling each other, and watching each other be disciplined, and that they saw their mother's boyfriend dropping Anthony repeatedly on the bedroom floor. One of Levi's daughter, who is now 18, testified that she also saw her father repeatedly dropping Anthony on the floor and that the boy appeared to be dead when she saw him 2 days later. During his opening statement, um, Deputy District Attorney Saeed Taimouri told the judge that Barone and Levi tortured and abused Anthony for 2 weeks before his death, while an attorney for Levi countered that his client should be acquitted of murder. Now, you guys, this evil, evil, evil man, I don't even want to call him a man, he's a fucking devil. Kareem is 6'3", and let me see I forgot how many pounds he weighed. Hold on. This man, this evil monster is, I know he's 6'3". Shoot, I don't remember why I don't remember his. I mean, okay, I can't find it now. I know he's 6'3" and he is fucking huge. Okay, he is huge. Hey, Mama Bear, how are you? Good morning. Thank you. I feel like I'm in court today. I'm not dressed appropriately, but hey. So this monster is 6'3". I'm not sure how many pounds he is, but he is fucking huge, humongous. Okay, and poor Anthony. This case really. So Kareem is also part of a gang. He's active in MS-13. His family also is involved. MS-13 is one of the most dangerous Mexican gangs in the country, and every country. They're all over the place. These are one of the very few Mexican gangs that go after children. A lot of Hispanic gangs won't retaliate, and go after children if they're after somebody. They just don't do that. But MS-13 is a gang that definitely does. They're very dangerous. I just cannot. I'm going to share this page real quick. Hustle at court. Yes. I was almost scared to come in. Wait, what name did you say? MS-13. And we're talking about today's the closing arguments for Anthony Avalos. So I just wanted to go over Judge Lexi. I could never be a judge, you guys. I could never. I was thinking to myself the other day, I should be a defense lawyer, but I could never be a defense lawyer against a person that kills children. So I don't know. I could just never work for the courts. I think I could be like a probation officer. Let me share my screen. Hold on. I want to find some. This is what he looks like. This is what this piece of shit. And you can't even see how big he is. But this is in this picture. Look at this fucking monster that took poor Anthony from age 4 to 10, picked him up by his legs, dropped him repeatedly, tortured him. And that stupid George Gaskin takes off the death penalty because death doesn't resolve anything. Oh, but poor Anthony and poor children, they also had the same caseworker as Gabriel Fernandez. This is the mother, the so-called mother. I don't even want to call her a mother. She's not. Look at her. That's poor Anthony. This is his aunt, Maria, who I've met, not face to face, but over Facebook, and they actually wanted to take Anthony in. They called the police multiple times. Can I zoom in? You are going. I see. I was in criminal justice. I just didn't finish. Lawyers are bastards. You are. Hold on. Let me see. Can I? Can I? Can I? How do I do it? What am I doing? What am I doing? Oh, Zoom. Oh, it's 100%. Oh, no. No. I'll pull up a different one. Hold on. I cannot stand him. I cannot stand him. And you should see him. Let me find a better picture where it'll show his tattoos. I can't. You can't. Yeah, I will send you it. I already know. It's. Oh. I mean, can you imagine somebody that size? Like, why? What makes you want to do this to a poor child? And you have kids of your own. You know what I'm saying? And okay. Judge to hear. Let's go over this one. Let me share the screen. You guys want to make screwed up. Okay. Is this it?
Dead boy's mother and her boyfriend have already been charged in his death, but now there are calls for the LA County Sheriff's Department to launch a full-blown investigation into the actions and inactions of the Department of Children and Family Services. The family's attorney saying individual workers here need to be charged and tried for Anthony's death. 10-year-old Anthony Avalos died June 21st, his body showing the signs of a vicious beating and numerous cigarette burns. His mother, Heather Barron, and her boyfriend, Kareem Leyva, both charged with murder and torture.
How many complaints do you need? 15, 20?
You guys, that's his dad. His dad, he was deported. So he was in Mexico. He was in Mexico at the time, but he wanted custody of Anthony. He was constantly on Zoom calls, and those Zoom calls just stopped, like, at one point. So he couldn't get a hold of Anthony. Is he illegal? No, he's not illegal. He was actually a security guard as well at one point, and he worked with Heather, the mom, with her brother. And that's how he introduced him to his sister. But his uncle, and his aunt are very nice people. They called the police. They used to have the kids come to their house all the time. They have 8, 9 kids of their own, and they used to have all of Heather's children go to their house, and they would take very good care of them. And they used to call the police and was like, "Hey, we don't want to give these kids back. Like, you should see them. They're beaten up, this and that." And the cops, they would give them back to the parent or to Heather and her boyfriend. And after that, Heather stopped talking to her family. But look how big he is, guys. I mean, that okay, that's his father. That's his real father. Um, look at
with murder and torture.
he just looks so evil. You can see the emptiness.
How many complaints do you need? 15, 20, 25, 88 allegations? It should only take one.
Attorney Brian Claypool represents the dead boy's father. Claypool.
This is his uncle, the one that this is his aunt and his uncle, the ones that were like calling the cops. They called CPS. CPS failed Anthony.
Is taking aim on the LA County Department of Children and Family Services, accusing workers there of ignoring dozens.
All right. Yeah, he's huge, huge. So share this tab. I don't know what I'm doing here. I was gonna, what the hell? That didn't work out. Come on. All right, so a therapist testified. A therapist who was sent to do an assessment at the Lancaster home of Anthony Avalos less than 4 years before his death testified Tuesday that she had grave concerns about the way his mother behaved toward her children. Wendy Wright said she called the child abuse hotline in October 2014 to report her concerns about Heather Maxine Baron because she felt a social worker was not taking her seriously and was going to close the case against the woman whom the prosecution witness described as very detached and very cold. Baron, 33, and her boyfriend Kareem, 37, are charged with 1 count of each murder. So she testified, the kids testified. I went over how they dropped the death penalty because dumb George Gaskin. So this is the what the therapist. She said it was a constant barrage of negativity. The marriage and family therapist testified about what she witnessed of Baron's interaction with her children. It was striking. This is still striking. Wright, who worked at the time for the Children's Center of Antelope Valley, said she informed the social worker that she believed Baron had no intention of following through with services and that she desperately needed parenting classes. She noted that the woman called one of her younger son's names and accused her daughter of faking it when she cried, while her mother ripped a brush through her tangled hair. Now, my daughter, my 10-year-old, thick, beautiful hair, beautiful hair. My hair, you can pull as hard as you want, you guys. No lie. Like, you can pull this shit, like, rip it out. I don't know why it doesn't hurt. I don't know. Like, my daughter's hair, I could just brush it and she's like screaming. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So what a normal parent does is fix it. Like, you spray stuff in it, make it not tangly. You buy a different brush. You hold it by the ends and brush it so it's not pulling at the, and I fix it to where it's not gonna hurt her. And this mother here, just I can just imagine her, and it's heartbreaking, just ripping through her hair, like, oh. And it's sad because even if I brush my daughter's hair and it's like not hard and that hurts, I could just imagine how this poor baby felt. The judge also heard testimony from 3 social workers from the county's Department of Children and Family Services, who's responded to a series of calls to the child abuse hotline involving the boy's mother, including the call from the therapist. Social worker Shane Bulkley told the judge that Barone acknowledged she had used a belt on the children and used hot sauce. So she admitted to this as a disciplinary measure in the past, but that he and his supervisor found there wasn't sufficient evidence to corroborate the concerns expressed by the therapist. Another social worker, Lucine Kashatran, I don't know, says she visited Barone after a call of suspected abuse was made to the hotline in April 2014, and that she denied physically abusing her children. Although she said Anthony, who was then 6 years old, reported to her that his mother was engaging in physical discipline with a paddle and a belt, and that she was locking him and his siblings in their bedroom. The social worker testified that she also informed the woman that it was inappropriate to allow her then 3-year-old son, Raphael, to take an unsupervised bath during her visit in the home. This is all just coming out, you guys, and I can't. Hold on. Barone admitted that she was 5 months pregnant at the time, but refused to provide information about Levi or the father of one of her other sons. So every time that they wanted to speak to her boyfriend, who was taking place in the abuse, they couldn't find him, and then they just closed the case. So a social worker just testified that she witnessed this monster leave her 3-year-old son in the bathtub all by himself during one of her visits, and they closed that case. How in the world do you see that and you close the fucking case? Now I am okay. So why did she take the steps over their heads when she reported it, and they didn't do anything? She could have went over their heads. Why did she not? I have no idea. And this happened 13 times, you guys. 13 times they closed the case and found nothing was wrong, even though the children told them there was something wrong. But then when they returned them back to their home, they later on said, "Oh no, we were just, we just said that we were mad," and of course they were threatened. So, oh God, the statistics for stepdads abusing other people's children is quite high. It happens all the time, even like for stepmoms. I don't know why they feel the need to do that, even to any child, but I don't understand. Is it like a jealousy thing? I will never understand. I know this all too well. I ran with mine for 7 years until he was safe. Mama Bear, see, you had to spray and condition. You did what you had to do, and I think now that all these stories are coming out, like in Gabriel Fernandez's case, a lot of people, they did everything legally they could do. But we see the system failing so many children. It's like, are we going to just have to take it to the next level and go to prison, like for kidnapping, to get them to realize what the fuck is going on? I just can't imagine. I'll be her selling. Yeah, me too. I would love it. Fucking dumbass bitch. 13 times. Yes, they closed it 13 times. And like she just testified, she saw Heather leave the 3-year-old in the bathtub. but you closed the case. I am so disgusted right now. Okay. She acknowledged that she allowed Anthony and his half siblings to remain with Michelle after speaking with her supervisor and determining that they didn't have enough to file a case with the dependency court. A third social worker testified that she responded to a hotline call about Anthony's half brother, Angel, in April 2015, who had told a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy that Barone had caused injury to his ear. During his opening statement, Deputy District Attorney Saeed told the judge that Barone and Levi tortured and abused Anthony for 2 weeks before his death, while the attorney for Levi countered that his client should be acquitted of murder. Anthony graduated 4th grade on June 7, 2018, and for 2 weeks he was abused and tortured every single day. I can't. Taimori told the judge that there had been multiple contacts with county's Department of Children's Services dating back to 2014. She's been torturing her kids for a long period of time, and one defendant, Levi, came in. Once he came into the picture, it turned deadly. The prosecutor said that the boy was already brain dead and had been lying on the floor in the family's townhouse for at least 1 day, possibly more, before his mom called 911. And their story was that he injured himself. And from what I've heard is that the boyfriend did that because he was signing over custody papers to for his other kids and getting his situation figured out. And I was not gonna let him. It's got me all the way messed up. You did what you had to do, and I am so glad you did. Because I don't know the situation you guys went through, but you wouldn't have done that if you didn't. So I'm glad that you did, and you didn't end up, in prison. Unfortunately, I think that's what a lot of parents have to start doing. It's sad. It's really fucking sad. So the boyfriend acknowledged that he had Anthony kneel on uncooked rice and admitted that he rendered him unconscious for about 5 minutes just days earlier. Leva's attorney countered that the evidence would demonstrate that there is reasonable doubt involving the murder charge against his client. Dan Chambers said the two major issues will be a lack of intent to kill and the issues of causation. A lack of an intent to kill. There is plenty of evidence where it's any time you're abusing a child, and to that degree, they're going to die. How many children, everybody knows about these children that are getting abused and beaten and they end up dying. What do they think? Just picking him up by his legs and dropping him on his head? That's not going to kill a child? Any kind of abuse towards a child should definitely be intent. The defense lawyer questioned the accounts of the boy's half siblings, whose testimony he said had changed over time. Chambers told the judge that many of the statements by the children are inconsistent, saying that their initial statements showed a lack of any actions on behalf of Mr. Levi with respect to the treatment of Anthony, and that Mr. Levi's conduct allegedly grew worse as the children underwent further questioning. Those inconsistencies in the evidence will be apparent, and once we demonstrate that, it will show that what the children claim they say Mr. Levi doing is inconsistent with the medical evidence. This case is a case of severe abuse, but as to Mr. Levi, it is not a murder, the defense lawyer told the judge. Not a murder. So what is it? What do they call that? You repeatedly and then sexual abuse the child, but you say that you abused him because he said he was gay, but you're molesting him, so you're gay. Like, make it makes guys. It makes even less sense when there's family to place the children with. At least the parents are put through. Oh, and that's the thing. They were supposed to go to parenting classes. They were supposed to go to classes, and they never did. And they still let them off scotch free. Oh, that's fine. Let's just close the case. They'll become better parents. They just need a week or two, learn how to parent. He used to make my son do that. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Mama Bear. Holy shit. How did you find out about it? Kneel on dry rice, squat on the wall halfway, pick up rocks from one end of the yard and move one by one to the other. That's prison. Is that the husband, the ex that passed away? Oh, Mama Bear, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. That just gave me like the chills. You came home early for work and you saw that. I will never understand. I will never, like, y'all are gonna get me emotional. um, I will never understand. I don't get it. I don't understand. There's no way to understand or process anything that goes through these monsters' minds. I couldn't imagine what I would do in that position. I say that I would murder whoever is doing that, but I would have to be there to protect my kids. So I would do what you did. I would probably hurt him a good time and then take off. Shoot him in the kneecap, something. But I am so sorry. I don't use discipline. I don't mean this. Everybody parents differently. I don't use any kind of physical discipline, like hitting, spanking. I never have ever. Um, you still 18 long motherfucking years married to a complete monster. You still gotta take care of babies. You gotta take them kids and save them. Exactly. And I know, yeah, like I completely understand why you did that. And that was the best. Because then they would have just ended right back up with him. And that's 18 long years. And if I have to guess, you were abused as well. Well, yeah, you said that. And it's okay. Like, everybody parents different. It's not for me. And I'm even bad at how I discipline. I'm like, I'm going to take away your Xbox or take away your tablet. And then the next 30 minutes, I'm like, here you go. Like, I feel bad. I just, but, I just can't do it. I can't. My husband's like, that's why they, like, get away with everything. Because you just, like, take away their stuff and then you just give it back to them. The aunt and uncle, Maria, they did win a settlement of $32 million by the county's Department of Child and Family Services. Because these, like I said, these social workers were the same for Gabriel Fernandez and Noah Cuarto. If they would have been fired, like, when Gabriel's thing happened, Noah and Anthony would still be here. I mean, um, let me see who else has testified so far. EMT testified. Okay, let me see this. I'm scared to play stuff, you guys, because I don't know.
Today, one EMT described 10-year-old Anthony as so malnourished he looked like a zombie. EMT Diane Ravago was among the first at the scene that day in June of 2018. She testified that Anthony had cigarette burns, abrasions, and was bruised from head to toe. Ravago says Anthony's mom did not cry, scream, or even appear concerned as they tried to bring the little boy back to life, and that she gave two different stories about how Anthony had been injured. Anthony's mom, Heather Barron, and her boyfriend, Kareem Leyva, have both pleaded not guilty.
Злоты є найкоротшим місяцем.
I'm just trying to look for all the testimonies. I can have more information, but I know that I'm not going to ask Maria because she's going through, the trial and everything, of course. And I know her whole family are just going through it right now, of course. So let me see this one. We don't want Christina Aguilera. Okay. I'm just not understanding. I just keep seeing lack of intent to kill. It doesn't make any sense. Oh. One of the attorneys, the mom's attorneys, Nancy, opted not to make an opening statement. The defense has suggested during the trial that Barone was a victim of battered woman syndrome, which is bullshit. She was a shitty mom from the beginning before she even met Kareem. That's bullshit. I can testify to that shit. Let me see. There'll be more after the trial is ended today. The coroner, I went over that in the last video. I went over their siblings. Trying to see. I went over last time how doctors and nurses testified that the mother displayed little emotion when told of her son's condition and death, instead seeming to fake emotion and forcing herself to cry. One doctor said that she actually blamed Anthony for his own death. We went over that last time as well. We went over the vacuum cord, the force to hold weight, books, or bricks over his head. We went over his face being rubbed into urine-soaked carpet. Between the two, they had 12 children. They were forced to fight. Okay. Hey, checking. How are you? When using other content, need to state the fair use. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out because I'm scared to play these without getting like a copy. Yeah, it was the same. It was like because there were so many different CPS workers, but at least two of them were the same. Um, their reason was supposed to be there is no reason, but they said that Anthony said he was gay, just like Gabriel Fernandez, supposedly, but he was being sexually abused by the boyfriend. So you're saying that he said he was gay, but you're sexually abusing him. And it doesn't matter if he's gay or not. And I don't understand why they do that, why they say that. Ugh. I wonder if it's illegal to shake a grown ass person. I want to do more than shaking this fucking cow. I and I'm so mad that George Gascon took away the death penalty. That's what he's trying to do. He even tried to get Pearl Fernandez an appeal. Like he thinks that Pearl Fernandez should get a second chance. No, we don't need you going to prison. Wait till my kids are all 18. I'll join you. Checking. Are you feeling? Is it still snowing? Let me try to find one more. Hold on. I thought there was gonna be more because hold on. Anthony. Today is you know the last day. He is so cute. I don't understand why he is so cute, adorable. All right, so let's see if you guys can you guys hear that? She didn't get an appeal though, thank God. Well, she didn't get approved. Oh my God, Snow. Can you hear that? You can't hear that? Hold on.
extreme torture leading up to the judge directly, who will then decide on a verdict. Today, during opening statements, we saw some incredibly graphic photos and videos of Anthony Avalos' lifeless body. We will not be showing that to you, but I can tell you that all of the wounds surrounding his death, affecting so many people, resurfaced in court today. More than 4 years after 10-year-old Anthony Avalos' death, today, the long last step to find justice begins. Anthony's mother, Heather Barron, and Heather's then-boyfriend, Kareem Leyva, face murder, torture, and child abuse charges related to Anthony and 2 other siblings.
Let me pause it. Last time I shared one of these videos, like ABC News or whatever, it gave us a warning, and like Arctic was like, we're not live anymore. So I guess what, do I just stop and like pause it and talk, or will it still give me a copyright? Because the 911 call is on here. I want you guys to hear it. I know you do checking, and I am so glad that they did not give that bitch a fucking, oh my God. But George Gascon took off the death penalty for these 2 fucking assholes.
Day before Anthony died on June 20th, 2018, Heather called 911 from their Lancaster home.
911, what's your emergency? My son's not breathing. What's that? My son's not breathing.
Prosecutors allege he endured 2.
Do you guys hear how fake that is? You guys hear how fake that is? I just hear it trying to fake as much as she possibly can. I don't hear anything concerning.
Weeks of extreme torture leading up to what they called the final blows 2 days before the 911 call, accusing Kareem of pinning.
Mama Bear, I'm trying to get the, maybe we can see it. No. Well,
Anthony by his neck and letting him fall, suggesting that is when he became unconscious.
Unbeknownst to the first responders, however, defendant Barron was not calling the police to get assistance for Anthony Avalos. In fact, at that particular time, he was already brain dead and lying unconscious on the floor for at least a day, possibly more.
Kareem and Heather have separate legal teams. Heather's decided to not give an opening statement.
And as I said before, yeah, when I heard the reason he wasn't breathing, and like I said before, the reason why they waited is because the stupid boyfriend wanted to sign over his custody, like, of his other kids and get all that figured out, and they were just worried about themselves. They weren't worried about Anthony. Had they have called 911 when it happened, it could have been a whole different outcome. Possibly. We never know. But
Kareem's did. His defense attorney plans to provide evidence to show what caused Anthony's death is a more complex issue, and that Kareem did not intend to kill him.
Dr. Haddix will come in and testify that there was no, and this is important on the issue of lack of intent, no objective documentation of forceful impacts to Anthony's head repeatedly being slammed into the floor as indicated.
Anthony's autopsy found he died with head trauma and had several other injuries on his body.
We went over this before checking. Kareem should hurt mine. You ain't nothing else to worry about. It was intent. Like, his own kids testified to him picking him up by his legs, dropping him head first onto the ground. That to me is intent. That's intent. What else is it? That's intent. Anytime you are doing that to a child, and I will keep repeating this, anytime you're going that length of abuse and you know that a child could possibly die, that's intent. That should automatically be intent. I don't know what you can tell by where his marks are on this. Yeah, I mean, guys, I can't. They failed him.
Both sides will argue whether or not he was malnourished, whether the couple deprived Anthony and his siblings of water, and whether there were inconsistencies between what was reported and when. The trial is scheduled to last 5 weeks. 3 witnesses testified today: Heather's sister-in-law, Maria, and 2 of Anthony Avalos' relatives from his father's side. Now, Kareem the whole time faced forward, so I couldn't really get a sense of whether he had any facial expressions that are worth noting. But there was one moment when prosecutors, without warning, showed some of those really graphic photos that I mentioned. Heather was actually looking at the screen at the time. She immediately looked away and stayed looking away until they went away. She otherwise had no emotion shown.
"13 times. 13 times they failed Anthony. They closed the case every single time. They saw burn marks. They saw bruises. The kids told them about the abuse, and they blew them off 13 times. Isn't that proving it? I mean, and Maria, the ones that they just said that testified, she had the kids a lot, and she started calling the police. She started calling CPS. The police went to her house one day and was like, no, you have to give the kids to Heather. And Heather stopped. Heather is Maria's sister-in-law. She's married to Heather's brother. And after that, Heather cut off communication. They do. This is the same ones. Gabriel, Noah, and so many more children. So many more. And they just, the CPS people, they needed to be charged as well. But no, nothing. The family won a $32 million lawsuit, but that doesn't bring back the child. Yeah, this is in LA. The whole California, it needs to be changed. A lot of states checking. I'm just so sick of it. I'm disgusted. I am going to find out more. Like I said, I don't want to bug Maria. I know her family is going through this. I pray to God this judge gives them the max they get that he can. If I hear any other verdicts, I don't know. Too many cases, not enough pay for good workers. And I was gonna do, like, I went to school for criminal justice, but I didn't finish, and I owe student loans. But I wanted to be a CPS worker. And I can't even go back to school because the student loans, I got to pay them off. I got to figure that out. They do need more workers, and they need workers that work, not just because it's a paycheck, but because they really care about our children. You guys, I'm drinking coffee out of my son's thermos. I was on time for one of these videos finally, and I needed a coffee. This is the first thing I grabbed. Oh, and it's Anthony's favorite. I just realized it. It's Ninja Turtles. I think they should get paid top money. They are working. Yeah, right? They need to get paid more. Maybe the police as well. Y'all, I gotta get ready for work. I'll finish it. Yeah, I'm about to get off, Mama Bear. I'm gonna message you. I'm gonna send you those pictures. I don't think there's really anything else until it's officially over that we'll be able to go over. There was only a couple more statements that I hadn't gone over since last time. We love you, Mama Bear. Thank you so much for coming. Have a great day at work. Oh, my kitty, come here. Come here. Let me just check one more thing and then I am done. No. Come here. Ugh. You guys, my kittens are like clawing at my couch. Come here. Come here. You're gonna mess up my couch. Okay, let me look at one more thing real quick and then I'll be done. No, come here. Come here. Okay, bye. Heather just looks evil. No, come here. Okay, we went over what the coroner said. Oh, warning, this video. Did we do this?
And took one more step towards taking charge of your health. They're packed with essential nutrients for energy and immunity support. So every day you can say with Centrum Multigummies.
The trial for the 2018 murder of a 10-year-old boy, Anthony Avalos, who lived in Lancaster, that trial is
Okay. Yeah, there's nothing else, you guys. So let's just pray that this judge does the right thing. Right checking, I miss Amelia so freaking much. Do you know that they are going through so much in New Zealand right now, like you are with the snow? Oh, do you want to watch that video? Didn't we just watch it?
underway. Avalos, who lived in Lancaster, that trial is underway. His mother, Heather Barron, and her then boyfriend, Kareem Leva, are the defendants. Anthony's aunt testified today about seeing her nephew's bruised body. Eyewitness News reporter Christian Cordero live outside the courthouse in downtown LA with the latest. Christian?
Mark, important to note that this is a bench trial, which means there's no jury. Instead, the legal teams are presenting their cases to the judge directly, who will then decide on a verdict. Today, during opening statements, we saw some incredibly graphic photos and videos of Anthony Avalos' lifeless body. We will not be showing that to you, but I can tell you.
Okay, yeah, we did. Yes, her house is like flooded and it's really bad. Why you did that to me, checking? Oh, before I get off of here, my conversation skills are on mute. We have to do part 2 of Darlie, and somebody commented on the video we did last time. So, checking, we need you for the part 2. So let us know. We wanted you for the part 1, but you know. So I will keep you guys updated. I hate getting off of here when Amelia's on because, I mean, I love you guys all, but Amelia, we're on such a different time schedule. And there's no way of talking to her. When the trial is over, I will be... Okay, I'll message you. I'm acting like I can't message you. When the trial's over, I will go over everything once again. Please go watch our other videos about Anthony. It goes into more detail. It shows a lot more. These poor babies were failed miserably. 13 times. 13 times. Wait, what? What am I missing? Now I'm having a slow moment. But yeah. I love you guys. The next video will probably be when we go over Darlie wrote. I can't ever say her last name. Roder. I don't know, but it'll be a part 2. So yeah, I mean, I'll probably come back a little later on before the kids get home from school, maybe go over just what's in the news. I do want to kind of cover my sister-in-law's friend who was murdered by a police officer. She was taken and missing for a long time. I had asked Arctic to cover the story when she first went missing. Well, not first went missing, but after a couple months. And they ended up finding out that she was murdered by a police. So I do kind of want to go over that because there's more information on it. I might be back. Rotier. Root. You know what? This is what I had to do last time.
Routier,
right? I swear, when we did part 1, I went on there like 10 times, and I just kept playing it and playing it. I was like, wait.
Routier.
But yeah, all right, you guys. I love y'all. Thank you for joining us. Please subscribe if you haven't. Please give our videos a like, share them. Yeah, we will see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye, Checking. Bye, Amelia. I hope everything is good, and I hope that I will see you later. I'm praying for you guys. I hate that y'all are going through that.